rather get beat.
I'd rather get beat.
I'm not gonna lie. When we got older,
get over with.
No, she's right. When we got older, we got so used to the whoopings that my dad heard us laughing in the room once, and he was like, "You know what? Come here, come here." He's from Trinidad. Go kneel on the concrete floor, and we had to put these thick. He had thick encyclopedias, and we had to face the wall, don't touch it, knees, and hold encyclopedias. And that was worse than getting whooped.
I just will say, growing up, most of my friends who got ongoing whoop, like for real got whooped. I'm not talking about maybe once or twice you got a spanking, but like got whooped. I'm just, for me, they were usually the friends who got in trouble the most, got into fights the most. So from my perspective, I'm like, if whoopings are so needed, then why are you off the hook? So that's the first thing. And then the other thing is, while again, I understand that even if you discipline your kids, they still are going to do their own thing. They're going to experiment. They're going to try stuff. They're going to mess up, right? And you're going to have to discipline. But for her to have felt that comfortable at that younger age, according to what y'all are saying, it sounded like there were multiple boys in there about to run a train. Like, that's a lot. If daddy and mommy have been disciplining me, coaching me, steering me the right way all these 13 years, and I'm still that bold to make that type of a move in the house, I don't know that your method of just whoopings, or maybe they need to add in a little more of something else, is working. Like, so to me, where's the accountability on the parents' end? Your child, you can't tell me you've been making all the right decisions with your child, and she's at 13 having a train about to be ran on her in her home, and you're instilling all
I disagree with that, though, because it's a balance, right? So just because a kid get a whooping doesn't necessarily mean that you're also providing all of the additional resources and lifestyle, the responsibility that comes along with showing them, right? Because I think that communication is 90% what you do versus what it is that you say. So for example, if they see you up, but then you beat them, and then you say, well, don't do what it is that I do what it is that I say, then it doesn't reinforce good values, right? And also, I think that there's a specific limit. Can you stop that for me, please? I think that there's a specific limit, right? So for example, once they reach a specific age, especially at the teenage age, if you haven't instilled those values early, then you've lost them, right? I don't believe that you should continuously do it for the rest of their life, right? But I do think that there's an age where it resonates with them, where they don't forget certain things, and you teach the lesson that goes along with it. So it's a combination, right? It's a lot of times certain parents think that just because they beat their kid, that's supposed to substitute for them to be a good parent in other aspects of their life, right? So it has to be a fair combination of how it is that you instill discipline and teach the lessons while reinforcing the values that you've established in your lifestyle and your household. And I also think that you have to be very careful of the company that they keep, because you got to remember that they outside of your house for at least 8 hours a day in school, being influenced and indoctrinated by what it is that they see out here in these streets. So you just got to be like, that's why it's so important to have two parents in a household, because to have one person going to work and doing all of this stuff by themselves, and to think that they being a good parent, they can't do enough to be able to protect their kid or instill the values or allow for them to actually understand the lessons that come along with being a good human being while still allowing them to fail in controlled environments. You can't do it by yourself, especially today.
Well, that's why with game, that's why I say game is important, because I was the one thing that most kids didn't have, the cool house. You remember, we all knew as little kids, we were young, there was that one house that had all the games, the fun, and we would all go to that house. And that's what parents should be, the cool house. So you can see what your kids are doing, to watch what they're doing. You can't, again, listen, guys, they're girls. So I just tell y'all can do and teach them whatever you want to teach them. But as soon as they get out the house, they're going to do whatever they want to do. So you might as well try to steal what you can, because once they meet a MAN, the rules change.
Boy,
let's say boy. Let's say boy.
Y'all said most of the men are boys. He said the risk. Kwana and Denise, what do you think about the ass whooping that girl got? Do you think it's worth it? Do you think kids should be beat?
I I also didn't watch the whole entire video, which I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm kind of glad that I didn't see it. Because same thing. I grew up in a household of both. My dad did whoop me. My mom not so much. It was mainly my dad, and he did it up until I was about 14. And that last time at 14 was like the worst of it all. And I probably shouldn't be saying, but like my dad actually like blacked out while he was whooping me at 14. You know? So
wait, what did you do? If you don't want to disclose,
I got 2 boys.
How many boys did you have in the house with your shirt on?
None. I can't even tell you now why he did it.
Oh,
you don't know why he whooped you?
I don't even listen. That was a different time and place. So because I have 2 boys, I do not whoop in my household. I don't do it. I refuse.
He was beating you. You thought about doing.
Oh yeah, of course. But I stop myself every single time because for me, it's like, am I doing it because that's how it's supposed to be, or am I doing it because that's how I was raised and I think that's okay? I never thought it to be okay, so I'm not going to do it in my household. You know what I mean? I have a 9-year-old and a 4-year-old for one. Anytime when it comes down to it, because again, children are going to be children. They are going to do certain things that we may not agree with. But I also, at the same time, I put on the face. That's all I need. My mother's from Jamaica. So I don't have to do all the extra and all that other stuff. I as soon as my voice gets raised to a certain octave, that's it. You know what I mean? Like I don't have to do all that with the hands and everything else. Because also the way that I think about it too, I want my children to come back to me when it comes down to it, when they really need someone to talk to. And I don't want to break that. I don't want ever at any point in time they got to run outside.
Let me ask you a question. Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a follow-up question?
Yes.
And you don't have to answer this or not because I know you like sharing personal information. What's the mindset of their father? What do they think? What does he think about your disciplining?
He doesn't whoop either.
Okay.
He doesn't either. So when it comes down to it, he's more, and again, boys, I can't speak on daughters. I don't have them. You know what I mean? But for my boys, when it comes down to it, if there's an issue and something happens, he's more likely to say, okay, push-ups. You know what I mean? Okay, we're going outside. I need you to run up and down this hill a couple of times. But he always talks to them before and after it's happened. You know what I mean?
You know, I feel you, and I would never tell anybody else.
Because even a 4-year-old, my 4-year-old is very quick and vocal. He will let you know how he feels and everything else. And I do take it into consideration. I'm not looking to be my children's best friend. I will tell you that much now. But what I will not have happen is where when it comes down to it, where they really need me, that they feel like they have to go elsewhere.
I feel you. I would never tell nobody else how to raise their kids. I think that that's another thing that come with being equally yoked, because I could never have kids with a woman or get married to a woman that don't believe in discipline like this.